Good morning. This is the video for the first two plays for the pursuit or the racing after. So let me read to you the Zettel and the gloss, and then how I practice it on the Pell, and some, I think, kind of hidden advice that we can get out of this one. This is the text and gloss regarding the pursuit. Learn to pursue twofold or slice into the defense. Two external figures, outer takings, therefore the work begins, and test movements whether they are soft or hard. A little hard to understand, but the gloss is pretty clear. This is that you shall well learn the pursuit, because they are two things. Perform the first, when he wants to hew in above, note while he pulls the sword up to strike, then pursue him with the hew or with a stab, and land a hit to his upper opening sooner than he comes again with the hew, or fall with the long edge above into his arm and press him away from you. Another pursuit. When he hews to you from above, let his sword go down to the ground with a hew, then pursue him with a hew in above to the head sooner than he rises with the sword. So these are skills that we have seen before. We're just being kind of expected to apply them in a new way. So the first pursuit is when the opponent is chambering for an attack, and we're going to step in ahead of time and kind of stuff their attack and kill them at the same time. So I think the easiest example is somebody's in an extended guard of some sort, and they pull back to land a cut. We're going to step into this space that they have just yielded with a cut or a thrust. Or we're going to come up with our edge onto their arm so they cannot finish. Either way, the kind of hidden advice that I see from this play is that we have to be in a posture that allows us to do this forward explosive movement. So if you get planted and locked, there's no way you're going to be able to shift your weight into kind of a movement ready position and step through in the time it takes somebody to chamber and cut. So what I get from this is that we need to be ready to move all the time. So if you've seen any of my previous videos talking about footwork or some of the footwork drills that we do, I talk a lot about the Tai Chi sway, having the weight being just a little bit on the balls of the feet so that we can kind of have what I call lively feet all the time. Our knees are not locked, our ankles are not locked, and we can shift very easily. And this ability to shift all the time means that we can come forward easily. Again, if you're locked, you're never going to come forward in the time it takes an opponent to chamber and then cut. So when I'm practicing this on the Pell, I'll just be in my position. So the first one is I picture my opponent being in some kind of a forward guard, and then they chamber to cut, and I just want to be able to quickly come in. I want those high hands, and I really want to cross that line. If I am interrupting somebody's cut, especially in a sportive context like a tournament or sparring in a club where they might get hit and then finish their cut, it's really important that we're crossing that line so that we're staying safe if that cut comes along. So I'll just be practicing on the Pell, just be here, boom, making sure that I have good structure, that my hands are high, that I'm crossing my center line with my cut to stay safe. Same thing with the thrust. If I want to arrest someone's attack with a thrust, I want to pursue in before they can finish that. If I just stab like this, there's a good chance their return cut's just going to hit me. So I usually think about thrusting into that kind of high hanger or high left ox position so that if they finish their cut, my blade is in the way. So it's the same thing. Maybe now I wasn't in a cutting position, but I was in a more point forward position, and I still want to interrupt their cut. I want to pursue in. I just want to make sure that I'm coming in with those high hands to the high opening in a way that guards me. So that's the first one. And again, if I'm locked, this is going to be very slow. So I want to make sure that I'm in a posture, a movement, a balance that allows me to explode forward or back very easily. So the first pursuit, racing in, is just preempting their attack. Oh, and then the other one is if we get our lead edge onto their arms. So the motion is basically the same. We're just getting the slice onto the arms to stop them from that cut. The second pursuit is now after their cut. And so this is, if you train with me, this is pretty much the ghost drill. It's also just we're just getting the opponent to airball. So we could just notice that our opponent has misjudged the range, let their cut go by, and then step in behind. I don't know that that's likely to happen super often against an educated opponent, so I like to force the airball by doing a slight shift back. I've shown drills on that, and other people have done good videos on it, but again, this comes back to that balance and that movement. So the way I practice this on the Pell is I'll be in my cutting position, and I just want to be able to bounce back and then forward, make them miss by a very little bit. As I've said in other videos, a miss by an inch is better than a miss by a mile. If we want to come in to land that counterattack. So just be in your range, little bounce back, and then forward. This is the second pursuit. So the first is as they're chambering, we're going to step in and stuff that and hit them as we're pursuing in. The second is we're going to force them to airball, and then we're going to step into this gap and hit them before they can recover. So nothing really new. It's a pretty short video. We're just being asked to apply these skills we've already learned in a slightly different way. But I think that hidden lesson of we have to be in a position where we can do these things reactively, which means we have to start in balance and able to move rather than locked and static, is really important. So play with those. We'll look at the two outer takings next week, and we'll just keep moving through the material.